Once upon a time, in Umudora village, there lived a young girl named Amarashi. Raised in a poor home, Amarashi had known hunger more than she had known rest. At 18, poverty had shaped every corner of her life. Her father died when she was 10, leaving behind a mother whose hands were permanently marked by years of manual labor. Their only shelter was a crumbling room, half covered in rusted zinc, patched with sacks. Her 15-year-old sister, Chisholm, was bright and hopeful, despite everything she dreamed of finishing secondary school. But even that dream felt impossible. Amarachi often stayed awake at night, staring at the cracked ceiling, wishing, begging for a miracle. And then the miracle appeared, in the form of Chief Damian Okeke, a wealthy widower in his late 60s with a mansion so large it swallowed 3 streets. He saw her once in the market. He returned 4 times after that. Then the gifts began. Bags of rice, cartons of noodles, envelopes of money. Her mother resisted at first. Men like this do not give without taking something in return, she warned. But after receiving several gifts, her mind was swayed. Soon Amarachi convinced herself she was God's instrument to save her family. Marrying him felt like a sacrifice, one she was ready to make. Within 3 months, she became the youngest wife in the entire town. Chief Damian's house was like a palace, silent, polished, intimidating. His 4 grown children hated Amarachi instantly. Teresa, the eldest daughter, sneered openly. "You are young enough to be my own child. I will never call you stepmother." Emiko and the other boys ignored her completely, treating her like an intruder. But Amarachi endured it. She reminded herself why she was there. Her family finally had food, rent money, and stability. Chisholm was attending a better school. Her mother no longer begged for sewing jobs. For 8 months, things remained tolerable. Amara started looking polished, well-dressed, and her skin glittered. Chief made sure she never lacked. Every week, he would give her money to go shopping. He bought her fancy gifts ranging from expensive bags, shoes, perfumes, and a car. Then the darkness came. Chief Damian slowly shifted from caring to controlling. He forced her to stay indoors, took her phone at night, forbade her from contacting her family without his supervision, and warned the staff never to let her leave alone. At first, Amarachi thought he was just being overly protective of her, but she soon discovered it was something much more sinister. It started subtly. She noticed how Chief Damian had secret rooms in the mansion, rooms the staff never entered. She noticed how he would leave late at night and return just before dawn. She noticed his private driver always smelled like freshly dug earth and palm wine. She noticed the old calendar that hung in his study, where certain nights were circled in red. Then, one night, she heard voices, whispers, prayers, chanting, coming from the forbidden west wing of the mansion. Amarachi followed the sound barefoot, heart pounding. She stopped at a half-open door. What she saw made her blood run cold. Chief Damian and 2 masked men sitting around a wooden altar with a small bowl of blood placed in the center. She gasped, and the floor creaked. Chief Damian turned sharply. "Who is there?" She fled before he saw her face. The next morning he acted normal, but his eyes lingered on her too long. He watched her like a man watching a ticking bomb. Amarachi couldn't sleep for days. She needed answers. One afternoon when Chief traveled for business, she sneaked into his study and searched through the drawers. Then she found them: old newspapers, black and white photos, police reports, and a small black notebook with names, more than 20 names, each crossed out with red ink. Next to each name was a date and the word exchange. Her hands trembled. She flipped to the back of the notebook, and there it was, an old faded contract between Chief Damian and a secret cult, signed when he was in his late 20s. Every 3 years, a life must be offered in exchange for wealth protection. The younger the life, the greater the reward. She felt her throat close. This man she married, this man she had been sleeping under the same roof with, he was a man whose wealth was built on ritual sacrifices. And the worst part? A fresh page had her name written at the top. Marachi Nwosu, 3 months remaining. She dropped the book in horror and ran to her room, shaking uncontrollably. That was the moment she knew. She had to escape. She would die if she stayed any longer. 2 nights later, Chief returned and requested a special dinner with Amarachi alone. The staff avoided eye contact. Teresa refused to enter the dining room at all. Emeka whispered something to the chief's driver and left the house in fear. Amarachi's heart pounded as she sat at the table. Then the generator suddenly went off. The lights died. Only candles flickered. Chief Damian's voice was calm, disturbingly calm. Amarachi, you have brought great joy to this house. Tonight you will bring even more. She stood up, but 2 masked men appeared behind her. Grabbing her arms, she screamed. Chief smiled. But the moment they tried dragging her toward the west wing, she bit one man's arm, kicked the other, and ran. Ran faster than she ever had in her life. She locked herself in the pantry and climbed out through a tiny back window. She fell into the flower bed, scratched and bleeding, but alive. She fled into the night, barefoot, wearing only a wrapper and fear. She took a bus to another state under a false name. Her mother and sister were already living in a rented room there, and they embraced her tightly, crying in relief. Amarachi never told them everything, only that she escaped danger. But deep down, she knew Chief would look for her. And he did. He reported her missing. He threatened her mother. He bribed corrupt officers. He placed a private bounty on finding her. But Amarachi changed locations twice, cut her hair, and found a small job in a roadside restaurant. Life was poor again, but she was free. Months passed. Then one day, news shocked the entire region. Chief Damian was arrested. A young man, one of the cult members, had confessed everything after being caught during another ritual case. The cult house was raided, and Chief Damian's name was exposed alongside evidence. Secret room photographs, names of victims, blood-stained ledgers. The government seized his properties. His children fled the country out of shame. His businesses collapsed. His reputation died overnight. And worst of all, the cult abandoned him. He lost everything: wealth, power, connections. For the first time in 40 years, Chief Damian was an ordinary man with no protection. 2 weeks later, he died alone in a small police cell. Suddenly, mysteriously, with fear carved on his face. Some said the cult punished him, others said karma did. But Amarachi didn't care. She was finally free. Amarachi built a new life for herself, her mother, and Chisholm. It wasn't luxurious, but it was peaceful. She woke up each morning knowing no one was hunting her. She walked freely on the streets, without fear of a black SUV stopping beside her. She slept without nightmares. And for the first time in years, poverty felt lighter than chains of gold. She survived. She escaped. She lived. This story comes with many lessons, but I am going to talk about just 2. 1. No matter how long wickedness lasts, its end is inevitable. 2. Desperation can blind us to danger. When poverty pushes someone into quick decisions, they may end up in situations far worse than the hardship they were trying to escape. What other lessons did you learn from this story? Tell us in the comments section. Don't forget to give this story a thumbs up and turn on the notification button so you don't miss any of our stories.